it's interesting. On the one hand, we can work in the world in a very effective way. In fact, more than effective, in a wonderful way. On the one hand. On the other hand, we can also do our work in the world in such a way that we are detached and that we do not do so with ego. You know? So it's interesting. Yes, you can have any sort of job that you have. You can, be a business person. You can run a business. You can, be a soldier. You can have any sort of job where you have competition, where you have to be very disciplined, where you have to have all these important qualities on the one hand. But then what's important is whatever you find yourself doing, wherever you find yourself, that you do your duty. If you need to compete, you compete, but you don't do so out of ego. You do so out of duty. And more than this, with all the work that you do it in a sense of karma yoga. You do it as a meditation. So, in other words, whatever you find yourself doing, this is the attitude that we are to have if we want to spiritualize our everyday life. That we do our work, but we are always saying to ourselves, I am doing this not only for me, I am doing this for God. This is my service. This is my service. This is my service to God. And in this way, even your work becomes a meditation. And even if that means competing, even if that means that you're an athlete, the greatest athlete in the world, and you have to compete, Have you ever seen that movie, what is that movie called? Something about chariots. I can't think of the name now.
Chariots of Fire?
Chariots of Fire, thank you. Thank you. Has anyone seen this movie, Chariots of Fire? Came out like 20, 25 years ago.
Years ago.
Yeah. If you haven't seen this movie, please see this movie. When it came out, it was considered one of the greatest movies ever created. It won the Academy Award that year for Best Movie. But it's a little dated, so maybe a lot of people haven't seen this movie. It's a true story, based on a true story. The Olympics, like roughly 1900 or something like that, like 100 years ago. And it involves these athletes, these runners, and their life story and how they have to train for all this. It's a wonderful, beautiful, dramatic movie. But the main character is someone who is a very religious, a very spiritual person, but in a very healthy way. And it's just truly beautiful how it shows that he competes, and he is literally the fastest human being on earth. And he is called that, and he knows that he is. However, the man has such humility. Why? Because he attributes it all to God. And he runs and he competes. But as he's running, you can literally hear his thoughts. And as he's running, he is offering his very speed to God. He's not even running for himself. But as he's running and people are watching him, marveling at this man's speed, in his mind, he is saying, this is for you. This is for you. This is for you. And this is how we can be the best. What to speak of compete? No, we can strive for excellence. We can be the best in any field that we find ourselves in. However, even greater than being the best in that field is to be the best and to know that I am also doing this as a service to the divine, as a service to God. Just think of that added benefit. It's one thing to just be the best and win and have people slap you on the back and praise you. But imagine that you were the best, and the entire time you were doing it as your humble service to God. And you were doing it as your meditation and as literally your stairway to the divine. So yes, this is how we can transcendentalize everything that we're doing. And this is how the greatest of us and the seemingly least of us, all of us in our own way, with regardless of what we're doing, from, again, the greatest athlete to the humblest street sweeper, we can all become sages. We can all become saints in our own way. Søren Kierkegaard, this very, very, very well-known Danish philosopher, called this being a knight of faith. Being a knight. Being a common person, just an ordinary human being, but with everything that you're doing, your thoughts, your intentions, your awareness is focused on God, on the divine, and it's all a service to Him. in this way, yeah, you can achieve everything that you need materially. Oh, you'll compete. Oh, you will win. You will actually be the best. But more than this, because the ego is not there, because you're not doing it just to be the best, because you're doing it as your service to the divine, you will achieve liberation by that very work itself. So, hope that answers your question somewhat. So with that, see that movie if you haven't seen it, or if you saw it a long time ago, Chariots of Fire. Truly a perfect example of karma yoga, of the idea of selfless service, of being the best person that you can be in your field, but having it be your sadhana, your spiritual practice, such that it's your ladder for knowing God as well. Something we can all learn from.